Hey, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table, like Harrow County by Off the Page Games. This is a two-player asymmetric game where players have different goals, but are playing against each other, trying to, accomplish their own goal before the other player does. It introduces the game slowly by playing through chapters. So the game gives you kind of the base mechanics that, is used with chapter 1, but then it builds on it, adding more complexity and adding in things that makes the game even more unique and intricate, and you play through 5 total chapters to learn the game. Harrow County is a small rural community, maybe not all that far from where you live or where I live. It's the kind of place you might miss if you're passing through if you blink. So yeah, basically anywhere here in western Nebraska. At night, strange figures move through lonely, forgotten places, and you might even see strange things when lightning flashes and thunder rumbles. Harrow County is a haunted place, a place where the haunts grow restless and uneasy. If you're planning on spending time in Harrow, it's best you know a few charms or maybe curses depending on your disposition, and also have a few friends by your side as well. You will play either Team Emmy, who was born under a tree where Hester, a witch, was burned. Emmy loved Harrow and it's her home, and has teamed up with the other townsfolk called Protectors. The siblings of Hester have come back to fight Harrow for what they did to their sister. They are known as the Family, and you'll play as one side or the other, the Protectors protecting the town versus the Family who want to destroy it. The Protectors have a goal to kill the haints of the opponents and rescue the townsfolk on the board, while the Family wants to destroy the buildings on the board. Each accomplishment will give you a point, and the first side to get 7 points wins the game. So players will be taking 3 alternating turns by activating one of the 4 mason jar actions and flipping them over to their broken side and taking the listed action. After players each take 3 turns, the round ends and the scoring in the brambles, the hex in the middle of the board, is scored, and then they prepare for a new round. These right here are the mason jars. You can take an abilities action, the wild action, the legend action, or the attack action, and each has a purpose in the game. The abilities mason jar is connected with 3 different types of abilities: advance, spawn, and strengthen. Each side will use these abilities, but in a different way. First, the Protectors, when choosing this action, they will choose one ability to activate, and the more tokens on the board of each ability, the more powerful that action will be. The Family draws tokens from their bag equal to the highest number on their faction board with a token below it. After looking at their choices, they then discard the number of tokens in the circle shown on their board, and they can now perform each of those abilities once for each token. Advance is moving, which can be done grouping units together and bringing any number to a hex adjacent to it. You will strategically be placing groups of units, single units, whatever you might think will help you when advancing your units. The spawn action will add haints to the board, and it costs 1 spawn for each haint, and they need to be placed where your legend is located or at your home space. Strengthen helps you with combat. You can add more cubes of your color to the battleground, and when attacking, these cubes are dropped in the tree, and the number of cubes that falls out of the bottom determines the outcome of the battle. Increasing your strength improves your odds of a success in battle. And battle is another way to score points as well. The wild action mason jar lets you add 1 wild token, and then you can use each wild token that you have gathered so far. This is an action that starts weak and gets more and more powerful the more that you perform it. But each wild token can then be used to perform your choice of advancing, strengthening, or spawning with any mixture from the amount of wild tokens that you have. The legend mason jar lets you activate your legend ability and their special power. The Protectors will be able to place path tokens onto the map. The more legend tokens you pick up from the map, the more powerful this action becomes. With a path, any unit can enter the hex with 1 less advance. Also, townsfolk can be passed through hexes with paths as if there was a unit there. This will help making a path from the townsfolk to their starting space easier to score points to do this. The family is different. They will have the choice to place a storm token on a hex where at least one of their units is on. Gaining more legend tokens will create more powerful storm abilities, like moving ability tokens closer, then also being able to move your friendly units with it as well, and when super powerful, being able to move in enemy units closer to the storm. Then the legend's unique power is activated and you can do the action shown on your chosen legend's character board. The last mason jar, attack, gives you one free advance, spawn, or strengthen action, and then you will identify the hex that you are attacking, which can be up to 2 hexes away and more when on the mountain. The player who has the most units in the fight gets a strengthen cube, and then cubes are taken and dropped in the tree. The result is determined by the number of cubes that fall out of the box of each color. For an attack to be successful, the attacker needs to have the same or more cubes than the defender. And the attacker has enough cubes also to complete the attack action. It costs 2 cubes to complete an attack, except when in the brambles, as it is hard to defend in the brambles as well. The attacking player discards 1 cube when attacking there. If the attacker is successful, they gain 1 point on their score dial, and their spoon is moved up so that it will take 2 successful attacks next for 1 point. If the target is a legend, then it will be moved to an adjacent hex, and the attacker removes one of their hints anywhere on the board and scores a point according to the spoon. That's the fight action, and then you can actually use any mason jar again to attack again if needed. During cleanup, you will collect tokens on any hexes where your units are located. Legend tokens are added to your character board, making it stronger. The player playing as the protectors, they will add their tokens to their board to make each of those actions stronger. The family will choose to either add tokens to their board, enable to draw more in the future, or add them to their bag to actually draw those actions to perform them. Then it's just playing the game and attempting to complete your objectives. The protectors are trying to make paths with their units and path tokens from the townsfolk meeple to their home hex. Doing this will score them 2 points. The families are laying out storm tokens, and they are making a path of storms connecting the building meeples of their, on the board to their home hex, and then they will score 2 points if they do that. Chapter 2 adds in tactics and upgrade cards, more characters to use as legends. Chapter 3 adds bonus tiles that pair with mason jars, and if a player is the first to do that action, they also gain that bonus action. And then Chapter 4 and Chapter 5 adds in the story, and Chapter 5 lets you play the game with 3 players. And you also can play the game solo as well. And, well, that's Harrow County, the game of Gothic conflict. The first thing that pops into my mind is, why doesn't other games make a little campaign-like introduction thing so that you can slowly learn the game? I mean, I don't think the lower complexity games need that, but these more complex games would surely benefit from something like this to those that, that are intimidated to play other games. Something, of increased complexity can definitely do this. Harrow County definitely doing something that I think that should be done in other games. Plus, it's fun to play through a short little campaign-like session so that you can get to the game, to the table, several times in a row, because it feels like you gotta play through it. You gotta, play the game several times to learn it. And it's fun to do that. But anyways, this helps with teaching the game, it helps with learning the game, and it helps with players understanding the strategy as they see things come together while playing the game. The next thing, this is an asymmetric game for 2 players. So what you get out of a game is more, because if you like it, which I think most people will, you will have a different experience playing as the family versus playing as the protectors. After playing as one, you will kind of know how, the other player plays without the intricacies and strategies that, you will want to learn when playing as them. This feels like, you get more out of the game. There's more game there. The way you choose your actions are easy, as you are picking one of the 4 mason jars to break and then take those actions, plus a possible bonus action. Besides deciding each turn what action you want to perform, you will need to string together a strategy connecting the actions to make them, more purposeful. This planning is really the fun part of this game, to me. The game introduces a third faction into the game so that the game can be played with 3 players. Hester plays differently, as it takes some time to get, going, kind of slow at first, but as you develop, you will become a very powerful person trying to, win as Hester, changing the game even more. Overall, it's a 2-player game that can be played with 3 players after unrevealing everything. It's a game of doing better than the other player and learning new things each time you play until you think you have it. It has a great way of teaching the game. It holds a story while learning it, and it holds to a game that you can play while trying to master it. Again, this is Brody with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are newish and working hard to bring to you games like this one and teaching you games and making videos so you know if these games are ones that you want to get to your own table.